Welcome, everyone. I am your host for the night. Okay, and I am having Lori Kay give us the reading to start out with.
I've actually got two readings for you. The first one is from Abraham Hicks. Some things you're not letting happen right now because the timing isn't perfect for you. Some you're not letting happen because you're very aware of where you are. But all things, as they are happening in perfect order. And if you will relax and begin saying, everything is in its perfect time, everything is unfolding, and I'm enjoying where I am now in relationship to where I'm going, content where I am and eager for more, that is the perfect vibrational stance. The second reading is from Joel Goldsmith. The mind will be still if there's no warfare, but there's always warfare if you have two powers. If you have good and evil, if you have desires, if you struggle to attain or achieve something.
Thank you, Lori Kay. I like what you had to say. Like I said, my title is called I Don't Know Yet. And what it reference to is, do you know what you're going to be doing yet? Say in 15 minutes. Most likely, yeah, you'll still be listening to me. Okay, that's a given. But what about in an hour, 2 hours, or even tomorrow morning? Do you know what are you going to be doing yet? And there's no rush. If you have an appointment or something like that, yeah, you got that idea. But even then, I would say you're still not going to know for sure what's going to happen. So you really don't know yet how this meeting, how this appointment, how your breakfast, if you're cooking, how it's going to turn out. Because if you cook like me, you got a 50-50 chance of it coming out okay. Given no promise. Don't know yet how it'll be until I'm done. But it's like anything. You really don't know yet until it's all done. And it's kind of like, well, it is life. And I like what Abraham Hicks said that Lori read for us. Is just let it happen, let it be, let it flow. Because you don't know what good, what things better could happen. And that's why when you make your wishes, dreams, hopes, this or something better. And it comes to tonight. Little different. And I've decided, of course, Spirit woke me up at 3 this morning. I didn't want to, well, I had to go to the restroom, what can I say? But I wanted to go back to sleep, and they were like, no. And so I already did my whole speech, laying in bed, wishing I could go to sleep. So let's hope I can remember everything that came to me. And to me, this is going to be different tonight. Because tonight, instead of calling these names God, Source, Jesus, which I think I spelled wrong, but that's okay. He knows who he is. Universe, Buddha, Krishna, Allah, Goddess. It doesn't matter what name you give it. Because think about it. I am that I am. I didn't give you a name, him a name, it a name, anybody a name. It's just you are, I am. Simple as that. So there is no wrong name. And if those of us have had siblings, 3 sisters, I'm sure we've been called, whose name is it? When your mom, or if your dad, if you had that, whichever way, we're trying to get your attention, trust me, you've been called how many names? And again, if you have siblings like mine, you've been called names that way too. And you get used to it. I remember being like junior high, high school, I can't remember which one. Teacher called me by my youngest sister's name. And everybody was looking at me like, we thought your name was Leah. I said, oh yeah, that's my younger sister. Oh, okay. Because if you ever had siblings, trust me, how many names are you going to get? And also then I've been called names when I got into the military, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Some of them nice and some of them not so nice. Some people see my name with no H in there. The way they pronounce it, I knew who they were talking to. So that's it. What's in a name? Nothing really, because as long as you know who you are, you're not a name. You are the part of the I am. Simple as that. So tonight, we are gathering up all those names, whether I mentioned them or not. Doesn't matter, because I don't know everybody's name. You're lucky if I do remember your human name, because you are. But tonight, the great pumpkin in the sky is who we're going to be talking about. That's right, the great pumpkin. So I don't want any other, oh, it's this. No, it is the great pumpkin. And the reason why that came to me was because, like I said, all these different religions got all these different names. People's got all these different ideas what it's supposed to look like, because we got the female energy and the masculine energy. We're meant to balance that out to start with. So it is the I am, and the I am is the great pumpkin in the sky. And the reason why I chose that, I don't know why it came to me, but it did. And if you remember, Linus trusted in the great pumpkin every year. He trusted her. He trusted the great pumpkin. He knew, he had that much faith in the great pumpkin. He knew without a doubt that the great pumpkin was going to give him wonderful goodies. Oh, yes. So Linus went to the pumpkin patch, which I would call his retreat space. He went to a retreat, to relax, to enjoy, to be open to whatever the great pumpkin is going to give him. Now everybody else, they got all dressed up and this and that. And just like us, we do our inside retreats, whether we go to a pumpkin patch or not. We do our own little retreats, knowing that something good is going to happen, and trusting in that. And you could have, and face it, Linus had a very negative sister called Lucy. I don't think Lucy ever had anything positive to say about anybody or anything. Even when Snoopy gave her a kiss, the dog, she just about had a fit and said, oh, dog kiss, dog breath, dog kiss, So think about it. You could have somebody like that in your family that's always negative, ready to put anybody and everybody down. You could have friends that you think are friends. But what did they call Linus? Crazy. And isn't that what some people call us because of our beliefs? Our faith in the great pumpkin? Because it's not like everybody else's? We were called crazy. But Linus, compared to his sister, Linus didn't have anything bad to say about anybody. Not really. He just accepted the fact he had a grumpy sister. And so if she said, you know, you're crazy, you're dumb, stupid, he's like, yeah, whatever. It didn't bother him because he knew that was her. So those of us that were brought up where we're constantly told we're stupid or ugly, whatever, had three sisters, been there, done that, have it. So we're still learning how to let go of that. Some of us are learning how to let go of that old belief that we're dumb, stupid, crazy, ugly, too short, too fat, too tall, too skinny, too whatever. Sorry, one of my sisters got onto my younger sister because apparently she didn't have enough boobage. So yeah, you've got people that, you know, you're either not big enough or too big up top, whatever. But again, and my younger sister's like, thank God she, and those of us that's got it and then gotten older, it's kind of like, yeah, we got it. So there's all that, but it's how you deal with it, how you allow it to affect you. Do you allow it from the childhood still control you? Or have you let it go like Linus, happy kid? And he was the one that always seemed to have words of wisdom, if you ever noticed that. Just simple little words of wisdom. And here, like I said, it was opposite of his sister. So every year, Linus went on his little retreat to talk to the great pumpkin in the sky. He didn't know when the great pumpkin would arrive. He didn't know. And that's just it. If you asked him, I don't know yet. And it's true. He did not know. So while everybody went traveling to get their goodies, their candies, whatever, and having, you know, some having fun because they're dressing up, you know, and going trick-or-treating door to door to see what goodies they could get. And Susie, which is Charlie Brown's little sister, she would hang around her, what she would call her sweet Bobo or something like that. I don't remember what. But she would hang around him for a little while because she was in love. That was her, whatever. I can't remember the name she called him. But even so, even though she stuck around with him, she, after a while, was like, well, when's he going to show up? Where's this great pumpkin? And it's like, oh, he's coming. He'll come. He'll come. And she's like, well, and she realizes that everybody else left to get the candy. She could be missing out on candy. When is this great spirit going to give all this good stuff that she had been promised that she would get? So he would sit there, even after little Susie left, not really looking at it, not really noticing it, but all those goodies were already around him, just like we have all the goodies around us. That's like Ellie's backdrop, that sunset, sunset. Beautiful. That's a goodie. That's around us. We may not be able to touch it, may not be able to smell it, or hopefully you're not able to smell anything, the pollution. Don't want that. But you're able to see that. And it does. It comes from the heart. You're like, oh, wow. Because that is beautiful. And if you're ever driving from home or going back from, to home from work, whatever, and you get a chance to see the sunrise, the sunset, that's a goodie. That's a goodie inside you, that we could be grateful that we were given the chance to see that. Because you ever notice you saw it, oh, that's beautiful. I mean, you really like, wow. And then all of a sudden you see it again, say maybe next night or 2 nights later, you act as if you never saw it in the first place because it's still such beauty. And it's not that you dismissed the last one, it's just it became a part of you, so ingrained that you kind of forgot until you saw it again and realized, oh yeah, this is a special time for me to see. Also, too, he was in a pumpkin patch. He was in nature. He was in a pumpkin patch. That's a goodie. To be out in nature, whether it's a pumpkin. Of course, I got a feeling you may never see a pumpkin the same way after this talk about the great pumpkin. But that's nature. It can be with flowers, trees, in the woods, or even a park in the city. It doesn't matter when you see, especially this time of the year, it is fall. It is time for us to see the great pumpkin changing things for us, the color of the leaves from green to the gold and the red and the just beautiful, especially if the sun is coming through the trees of the leaves. It's just wow. Because where I'm at, the orangey red gold leaves, and all of a sudden the sun was coming right through them and just made them shine. And each time all I could say is, oh wow, thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you for the change of the seasons, for the beauty I'm seeing with the change into fall. It's beautiful. That's a goodie. That is beautiful. Also above him, Linus, is the night sky. Because if you ever notice when you watch the Great Pumpkin, it's always a clear, beautiful day. Or night, I should say. So no rain, no clouds blocking the Great Pumpkin. It's a clear night for the Great Pumpkin to appear to us. And with the stars sparkling, if there's not a whole lot of lights because of trick or treat happening, the kids are out and the lights are on so the kids can go to that door. It's that in itself, even if it is lights and you could see what's going on, and that in itself is also a goodie. So you have to look at things like that. Also, too, you have time to think, reflect. So he had friends that are off doing their own thing, and you're doing your own thing. And you have a dog willing to hang out with you, not caring about the good things to come. As far as he's concerned, he was part of all that is good. He's a dog. Dogs don't care. They're not picky. And if you think about it, if it's a dog that's friendly with everybody, he doesn't care. Yeah, we got some doggies there. Ellie's and Karen W's, and I know Karen A's got about 3 somewhere and what have you. Nothing wrong with the kitty cats. Oh, and Laura has 2. Kitty cats are a little different. They love you, but they'll let you know when it's time. Whereas a dog, oh, he loves you. He doesn't care what you're doing. Whether you want him to sit on your lap or not, he thinks he's a lap dog anyway, and he's going to give you that love. Whether you say, get off my lap, he's like, sure, whatever. You might put him down, but he knows how to jump right back to that lap. He doesn't care. And at the same time, if you don't pet him long enough, if there's somebody else, they usually don't meet too many strangers. They usually don't. So you're not paying attention to them. That's all right. They'll find somebody else. And I would say Linus, while he's there, I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure he had his security blanket with him. And Snoopy was the only person I guess you could say, that was allowed to mess with Linus's blankie, his security blankie. Because Linus used that security blanket, get away from me. He wouldn't let anybody mess with his security blanket. Except Snoopy didn't care. He would inch up, and next thing you know, he's sitting on top of that security blanket, leaning up against Linus. And Linus there with the security blanket like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? When an animal, any kind of animal, gives you unconditional love, what are you going to do? Not much you can do. And what came to me was his blankie was his guardian angel. That blankie he carried around with him was his guardian angel watching over him, protecting him, surrounding him with a loving protection. And we have those days when the mother takes the security blanket because it needs to be cleaned. And Linus would go crazy, waiting for his blankie to get out of the washing machine. And it's like us with being humans. We sometimes go through cycles, different cycles. And sometimes we have to go through those cycles of trauma, stress, fear, anger, hurt, whatever it is. Because once we allow that cycle to be done, the blankie is fresh, clean, waiting for us as if it never left us. So the same with your guardian angels. Sometimes you get so wrapped up in things and you can't quite calm down just yet, this and that. But the guardian angel was always there. It's just with that turmoil, you couldn't quite get a hold of it because you were over here, stressing out. But once you got yourself calmed down, security blanket came back, everything was okay. You had your guardian angel who never really left you, had always been there, but you couldn't see him because of something else going on. So he had his guardian angels with him in the pumpkin patch, waiting for the great pumpkin in the sky. So towards the end of the night, he had to go home. The kids are coming back with the candy, and I'm sure, mom and dad's waiting for you to come on home. And him seeing that, thinking, there's always next year. What he did not realize was the friendship he had everything around him. He had the friendship. He had family. He had community because of all those friends. They lived in the same neighborhood. That's why they were traveling together to get the candy, to get the goodies. He's just because he didn't see it physically, he didn't realize it had already come. It had already arrived. Because he was filled with a knowing, because he does this every year and he has so much faith. He knows the great pumpkin is here. It's coming. It's here. So with his sister Lucy, I'm sure she wouldn't mind sharing. I figured if her parents told her she needed to share the candy, I'm sure what she thought was the bad candy that she didn't like for whatever reason, that could have been the candy he did love. That could be the candy he really wanted anyway. So that's just it. How do you judge from one person to the other which is the good candy, which is the bad candy? Because if there really was any bad candy on this planet, it would not have been able to sell in the stores. Kids would not have eaten it. Adults would not have eaten it. So there is no bad candy. It's only how you feel about certain types of candy. And not everybody likes chocolate. So they could be looking at the sour candy or whatever. So you got all this. So even though somebody thinks they're giving away something bad, it could really be helping somebody. It's something they wanted, something they needed, something they liked. You just never know. And Charlie, being his good pal, his good buddy, I'm sure he was willing to give him, some of the candy because you figure they got how much candy. I'm sure there are a couple more friends would have given him, some more candy because they have so much. And I'm sure you have some kids that are like, oh no, this is all mine. Again, it's like us. Some are willing to share openly. Some are want to be selective in their sharing. And some do not want to share at all because that's mine. And they're afraid to let go of that. But yes, he was showered with all the goodies from the great pumpkin. There's just nothing we saw physically, but it was always there. So I think this kind of represents where we're at in our life and how life is and how the great pumpkin loves every single one of us. The great pumpkin's inside of each of our hearts. And if you ask yourself, how may I serve? How may I help? You don't know yet because you're only where you're at this moment. But you don't know the minute you walk out the door where you're guided to, where you're meant to be, who's going to all of a sudden be there in your path for you to serve. So allow what unfolds you happen. None of us know when anything's going to happen. So all you can honestly say is, I don't know yet. If you haven't even gotten out of the bathroom yet, you have no clue at times what the day really is going to bring you. But just know the great pumpkin is there with you at all times. Your guardian angel is right there ready for you to hang on to if you need that extra security blanket. You've got everything you need and everything you want. And friendship, community, family. You've already been given every goodie you could think of. He's been with you the whole time. You just didn't see him.
So bringing this to a close, we thank as a group and as individuals that very essence that enfolds us, that walks us, that breathes us, that is closer than hands and feet, that keeps us in that wonderful state of not knowing, of anticipating good. And we are so grateful for its living, pulsing presence within our beings. And we are grateful for coming together again as the family that we are. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen.